When a man looks a woman in the eyes and says, I got you, that's not just a phrase, that's a promise. See, when a man really loves you, he doesn't want you to worry about whether he's serious, whether he's staying, or whether you're alone in this thing. He wants you to feel safe with him, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Now, let me tell you something, ladies. A man who truly loves you will make you feel covered. He'll protect you even when you don't know you need protecting. And I don't just mean from the outside world. I'm talking about protecting you from stress, from doubt, from fear. Because when he says, I got you, what he's really saying is, I see what you're carrying, and I'm here to help you carry it. You ever met a woman who's been fighting her whole life? Fighting to be heard, to be understood, to be appreciated. That woman is tired. She's strong, yes, but she's tired. And when she finally meets a man who looks at her and says, baby, I got you, she starts to breathe again. Because for once, she doesn't have to do it all by herself. Now, let me break it down for you. Men express love through actions. A man can tell you, I love you, all day long, but if he never shows up, never checks in, never stands beside you when things get hard, that ain't love. That's performance. But when he says, I got you, and then he backs it up, that's the real deal. See, I got you shows up in the small things. It's him taking your car to get serviced because he noticed your tires were low. It's him calling just to make sure you made it home safe. It's him making sure you ate even when he's tired. That's what love looks like when it's mature, when it's not about showmanship, but about service. A real man doesn't want to control you. He wants to cover you. There's a difference. Control says, do what I say. Coverage says, you don't have to fight alone. When a man deeply loves you, he takes it personally. When you're hurting, your pain becomes his mission. Your peace becomes his purpose. That's why I got you carry so much weight. It's not about ego. It's about empathy. Now, ladies, let me tell you something important. A man can't say, I got you, until he's done running from himself. Because before a man can love you right, he's got to be right within himself. You can't expect consistency from a man who's still confused about who he is. So when he gets to that point, when he's grown enough to say, I got you, it means he's chosen maturity over pride. See, Steve Harvey always says, a man shows his love in 3 ways: he protects, he provides, and he professes. Is all 3 of those wrapped in one? It's him saying, you're my woman, I'm responsible for how you feel around me, and I'll do what it takes to keep you safe. That's why when a man says it, it means it. His whole energy changes. His tone, his decisions, his effort. Everything starts aligning with those 3 words. Let's be real. Every woman deserves that kind of love. The kind that doesn't make you question, doesn't make you compete, and doesn't make you chase. You shouldn't have to earn, I got you. It should flow naturally from a man who's ready for love. Because when a man's heart is ready, his actions follow. And fellas, let me talk to you for a second. If you love her, show her. Stop assuming she knows. Women carry a lot silently. They smile while they're breaking. They hold you down even when they're tired. So if you're blessed enough to have a woman who believes in you, don't make her fight battles alone. Tell her, I got you. Back up with consistency, effort, and protection. Because one thing about women, when she knows you got her, she'll give you everything. Her loyalty, her peace, her softness. All of it flows when she feels secure. She'll stand by you in storms. She'll pray for you. She'll pour into you. But it starts with her knowing she's safe. You see, I got you builds trust, and trust is the foundation of love. Without it, everything falls apart. With it, 2 imperfect people can build something unbreakable. So when you hear a man say, I got you, pay attention to whether he shows it. Does he cover you with his words and his actions? Does he make you feel lighter? Because when it's real, you'll feel the difference. It won't feel like pressure. It'll feel like peace. And that's what deep love really is. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's that quiet strength that says, no matter what happens, I'm here. That's what I got you really means. So ladies, if you got a man who tells you, I got you, and proves it every day, appreciate that man, because that's rare. And fellas, if you've been blessed with a woman who trusts you enough to let you lead, make sure your words match your actions. Because real love isn't about promises. It's about presence. It's not about what you say when things are easy. It's about what you do when things get hard. So the next time you hear a man say, I got you, listen closely. If his actions line up, you just found yourself something real. And that right there is the beginning of a love that lasts. When a man truly loves a woman, one of the most powerful things he can say to her is, I'm proud of you. Because listen, a man can admire your beauty. He can be drawn to your body. But when he starts admiring your growth, your grind, your grace, that's when love has matured. See, a man's pride in his woman says everything about the depth of his heart. When he's genuinely proud of you, it means he's not threatened by your light. He's inspired by it. He's not trying to dim your shine. He's out there holding the flashlight saying, go ahead, baby, do your thing. Steve Harvey once said, when a man loves a woman, he wants to show her off, not hide her. And that's real, because pride and love go hand in hand. You'll know a man's love is real when he stops competing with you and starts clapping for you. Now, I've seen too many situations where a woman starts achieving, starts growing, starts leveling up. And instead of celebrating her, the man starts getting insecure. But that's not love, baby. That's ego. And ego and love can't live in the same house. When a man's heart is right, he doesn't feel smaller because you're winning. He feels grateful that he gets to stand beside a queen like you. He doesn't want to clip your wings. He wants to see how high you can fly, because he knows when you win, we win. That's what partnership is about. A man who's truly proud of his woman will tell her, "You inspire me." He'll remind her, "I see your effort." He'll let her know that all those long nights, all those battles she's been fighting haven't gone unnoticed, because love notices the details. Ladies, you ever been in a relationship where you had to shrink yourself just to make him feel big? You start hiding your dreams, toning down your voice, pretending you're less than you are, just so he doesn't feel insecure. That's not love, that's emotional suffocation. A real man will never ask you to play small. He'll push you to grow even when you doubt yourself. That's when you know he's proud of you, when he becomes your cheerleader instead of your competition. And fellas, let me say this, telling your woman you're proud of her costs you nothing, but it builds everything. It builds her confidence, her security, her peace. See, women carry so much silently. They give, they nurture, they uplift. But sometimes all she really needs to hear from you is, "Baby, I see you." Because that's what "I'm proud of you" really means. It's saying, "I recognize your effort. I appreciate your strength. I honor your hustle." And when you say that sincerely, you water her soul. You make her feel seen. And a woman who feels seen will love you in ways you didn't even know were possible. Let me tell you a little truth Steve Harvey once shared. A man who truly loves his woman finds joy in her happiness. So if your woman just got that promotion, that degree, started her business, or even just made it through a hard week, celebrate her. Don't let her clap for herself. Stand right beside her and say, "I'm proud of you." Because that right there will go further than any gift you could ever buy. Now, here's the thing. Being proud of her doesn't mean you stop leading as a man. It means you lead with her, not over her. You walk side by side. Because when love is mature, it's not about hierarchy, it's about harmony. And ladies, when a man says, "I'm proud of you," don't dismiss it. Don't brush it off. Accept it. Because sometimes that's his love language. That's his way of saying, "And I see your strength, I value your spirit, and I respect who you are." A man in love wants to see you become everything God created you to be. He doesn't just love who you are, he loves who you're becoming. That's why his pride in you means something deeper. It means he believes in your potential. Listen, any man can say, "I love you," but it takes a secure, mature man to say, "I'm proud of you." Because that statement means he's emotionally invested in your evolution. He's not loving you for what you do for him. He's loving you for who you are. And let me tell you something powerful. When a man is proud of you, his actions will show it. He'll brag about you to his boys, to his mama, to anybody who'll listen. You'll hear him say things like, "Man, my girl's killing it," or "I'm so lucky to have her." That's not just talk, that's admiration. And admiration is the foundation of lasting love. Ladies, if your man is proud of you, don't take that lightly. Because most men were raised in a world that taught them not to express emotions, not to show vulnerability, not to speak love out loud. So when he tells you he's proud of you, that's his heart talking. And fellas, let me talk to you one more time. When your woman knows you're proud of her, she'll glow different. You'll see it in the way she walks, the way she talks, the way she looks at you. Because that affirmation hits deeper than a compliment. It tells her she's valued. And when a woman feels valued, she becomes unstoppable. See, love isn't just about romance. It's about recognition. It's about saying, "I see you. I value what you bring. I'm with you." That's how you build a love that lasts through the storms. So let's keep it real. When a man deeply loves a woman, he doesn't just tell her she's beautiful. He tells her, "I'm proud of you." Because beauty fades, but respect, that's eternal. And when a man respects you, when he admires your mind, your resilience, your drive, that's when love turns into legacy. So, ladies, don't settle for a man who only compliments your looks. Wait for the one who compliments your growth. The one who says, "I'm proud of the woman you're becoming." That's the kind of love Steve Harvey talks about, the kind that's built on admiration, not attraction. And to the fellas, if you love her, say it. If you're proud, speak it. Because a woman who feels appreciated becomes a woman who will move mountains for you. At the end of the day, love isn't just about saying, "I love you." It's about saying, "I see you, I value you, and I'm proud of you." That's the language of a man who loves deep. And when he starts saying that, you know his heart's all in. Let me tell you something that separates a real man from a boy playing grown. Up the words, "I was wrong." Now, those 3 words might not sound like much, but they hold more power than any fancy love quote or grand gesture. Because when a man can look his woman in the eyes and say, "I was wrong," that means he's putting his pride aside for something bigger, love. See, Steve Harvey always says, love requires humility. And that's facts. You can't have a strong relationship without humility. You can't build peace in your home if both people are always trying to win. Because in love, it's not about who's right, it's about keeping the relationship right. Now, most men were raised to believe we got to be strong, got to be in control, got to always have the answers. But love will humble you, man. Love will teach you that strength isn't about dominance. It's about accountability. When a man loves a woman deeply, he starts realizing that saying, I was wrong, doesn't make him weak. It makes him wise. It shows her that he values her peace more than his pride. Because a man who can't admit when he's wrong will end up losing the woman who was right from. Ladies, let me tell you, a man who can't apologize is dangerous to your peace. He'll hurt you and then make you feel guilty for being hurt. But when a man's love matures, when he truly wants to protect your heart, he learns to check himself. He'll come back and say, baby, that one's on me. I messed up. And when you hear that, that's not just an apology. That's emotional growth. Because love without accountability turns toxic. But love with humility, that's where healing begins. Steve Harvey once said, the mark of a man isn't how loud he roars. It's how quick he can make peace. And man, that's the truth. The strongest men are the ones who can admit when they've fallen short. Not because they're afraid to lose the argument, but because they don't want to lose the connection. When a man says, I was wrong, he's saying, you matter to me more than my ego. He's saying, your feelings are valid. Your pain means something to me. And that's the kind of love that builds trust. See, pride destroys relationships faster than anything else. Pride will have two people sleeping back to back, both hurting, both silent, waiting for the other to make the first move. But love, real love, it moves first. It says, you know what, I said that wrong. I shouldn't have raised my voice. I didn't listen. And when a man loves you deeply, he'll start doing that. Not because he's weak, but because he wants peace between you more than power over you. That's growth. That's love with maturity on it. Now, fellas, I'm talking to you directly. If you truly love your woman, learn to apologize. I don't mean the halfway apology, you know, the one, I'm sorry you felt that way. No, that's not an apology. That's manipulation. I mean the real kind. I was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. I didn't handle that right. I hurt you and I'll do better. You see, women are not asking for perfection. They're asking for honesty. They just want to know you see the damage, that you care enough to repair it. Because when you say, I was wrong, and back it up with changed behavior, you rebuild what ego tried to destroy. Ladies, when a man starts saying, I was wrong, pay attention. Because that's love maturing right in front of you. It means he's starting to care about how his actions affect your spirit. He's learning that love isn't about dominance, it's about balance. He's learning that leadership doesn't mean never failing. It means owning your failures and growing through them. Let's be honest, it takes a strong man to admit he's wrong, because it goes against everything the world tells him about manhood. But Steve Harvey says this all the time, real men own up. Boys run from responsibility. When a man truly loves you, he'll face his flaws instead of defending them. He'll say, I didn't listen to you when I should have. He'll say, I took my stress out on you, and that wasn't fair. He'll say, I said some things I shouldn't have, and I'm sorry. That's not weakness. That's growth. That's love trying to heal itself. And ladies, when you hear that, meet him halfway. Don't weaponize his vulnerability. Because if you make a man feel stupid for admitting he's wrong, he'll never open up again. A real man wants to feel safe, too. He wants to know his honesty won't be used against him. That's how healthy relationships work. Grace on both sides. You forgive each other, you learn, and you grow. That's how strong couples stay together. Not because they never argue, but because they learn how to repair after the argument. Now, here's something Steve said that'll stick with you. You can win the argument and still lose the relationship. Let that sink in. Because sometimes being right ain't worth being alone. When a man truly loves his woman, he's not afraid to lose the argument if it means keeping her heart. Because he knows that in love, peace is better than pride. So if you got a man who looks you in the eyes and says, I was wrong, understand what he's really saying. He's saying, you're more important to me than being right. He's saying, I value our connection more than my ego. That's love with maturity. That's love that's been tested and refined. And fellas, if you're trying to be that man, remember this apologizing doesn't make you less of a man. It makes you more of one. Because it takes strength to face your mistakes. It takes courage to make peace. At the end of the day, real love ain't perfect. It's accountable. And when a man's heart is truly invested, he'll protect your peace even if it means admitting his fault. So yeah, when a man starts saying, I was wrong, that's when you know his love runs deep. That's when you know he's not just in this for comfort. He's in it for connection. Because love without humility won't last. But love with humility, that's the kind that grows old together. When a man looks at you in the middle of life's chaos, bills piling up, problems knocking, stress coming from every direction, and he says, we'll figure it out, that's when you know he loves you for real. Because see that right there? That's not just a sentence. That's a spiritual commitment. That's him saying, no matter what happens, I'm in this with you. Now, Steve Harvey says it all the time. A real man don't run when things get rough. He stands. That's exactly what this phrase means. It means he's not leaving you to face life alone. It means he's not jumping ship when the water gets rough. He's saying, Baby, I don't know how, I don't know when, but I promise we'll find a way. That's love in motion. That's partnership. See, when a man is serious about a woman, his language changes and stops being me and starts being we. He's not thinking about how to survive alone anymore. He's thinking about how to build together. Because when he's in love, her problems become his problems, her dreams become his dreams, and her fears become his mission to calm. When he says, we'll figure it out, he's saying, I'm not going anywhere. That's emotional security. That's commitment in its purest form. Now let's be real. Life will test every relationship. You'll face moments when nothing goes right, when you both feel tired, frustrated, even scared. But a man who loves deeply will never let fear drive him away. He'll step up. He'll say, we'll figure it out, because he understands something. Love isn't proven when everything's easy. It's proven when everything's falling apart and he's still holding your hand. Ladies, listen, when a man says, we'll figure it out, that's not him pretending to have all the answers. That's him showing faith, faith in himself, faith in you, faith in us. Because real love doesn't always have a plan, but it always has the will to fight for it. That's why Steve Harvey says, when a man loves you, he becomes a problem solver. He doesn't walk away when things get hard. He leans in, he doesn't shut down, he steps up. Because a man's instinct when he's in love is to fix it, not because he thinks you can't, because he wants to make life easier for you. And ladies, when you've got a man like that, one who says, we'll figure it out, instead of, that's your problem, you better know you've got something rare. That's loyalty talking. That's love that wants to stay. But here's the thing. That phrase goes both ways. Because relationships are a partnership. You can't have one person saying, we'll figure it out, while the other says, that's your job. No. When love is real, both people fight for the same goal. So, fellas, if you really love your woman, start saying this more. Don't leave her to carry everything on her own. If she's worried, reassure her. If she's tired, remind her. We're a team. Because that's what women crave, not perfection, not riches, but consistency. The peace of knowing, I'm not in this alone. Now let's talk about something deep for a minute. We'll figure it out is also love's answer to fear. Because fear loves to whisper. What if it doesn't work out? What if we fail? But love whispers back. Even if we fall together. That's strength. That's faith. That's partnership. Steve Harvey often says, the right man makes you feel safe in uncertainty. That means when life shakes you, he's the one who steadies you. When you start to panic, he says, baby, don't worry. We'll figure it out. That's when you know his love is rooted in peace, not panic. See, a man who's deeply in love doesn't measure a woman's worth by what she brings. He values who she is. And because he values her, he protects her peace. He doesn't let her drown in problems alone. And ladies, that phrase right there, it's not just about money or fixing things. It's about emotional partnership. It's about knowing that when life gets real, he's not going to disappear into silence. He's going to communicate, collaborate, and commit. That's what Steve calls grown love. Because immature love says, you figure it out. Mature love says, we'll figure it out together. That's the difference. Now, here's a truth most people don't want to admit. When a man says, we'll figure it out, it also shows how much he trusts you. Because he's saying, I believe we can handle this. That's respect. That's partnership. That's equal love. Let's be honest. Relationships ain't fairy tales. There will be days when money's tight, when emotions run high, when you question everything. But a man who loves you deeply will remind you, this isn't the end. It's just a test. And that's powerful because every time he says, we'll figure it out, he's building emotional safety. He's teaching you that his love doesn't collapse under pressure. He's showing you that he's not here just for the good days. He's here for all of them. And fellas, hear me on this. When you love your woman, that's what you owe her, reassurance. She's not asking you to be perfect. She's asking you to be present because your presence gives her peace. When she's stressing, hug her and say, baby, don't worry, we'll figure it out. When life feels uncertain, grab her hand and remind her, we'll find a way. Because when she knows you believe in them, her whole world changes. That's the kind of man women pray for. Not the one who fixes everything, but the one who stays while you fix it together. And that's what Steve Harvey means when he says, a man's love shows up in his consistency. Because when a man keeps showing up through the chaos, that's when love turns from emotion into foundation. So ladies, when he says, we'll figure it out, believe him, but also watch his follow through. Does he plan? Does he act? Does he stay? Because real love doesn't talk, it builds. And fellas, keep saying it. Because women remember those words. They hold on to them on the days when doubt creeps in. They replay them when they start to worry. So when you say, we'll figure it out, make sure you mean it, and then prove it. Because love isn't about having all the answers. It's about having the heart to find them together. That's what real love sounds like. That's what grown commitment looks like. That's the language of a man who's not just in love, but rooted in love. So when a man says, we'll figure it out, he's not promising perfection. He's promising partnership. He's promising presence. He's promising forever. When a man looks you in the eyes and says, You're my peace. You've reached the most sacred part of his heart. See, a man can tell you you're beautiful, you're sexy, you're mine, but when he says, you're my peace, that's something different. That's not just love, that's home. Steve Harvey always says, every man is looking for a woman who brings him peace, not more chaos. And that's the truth. Because out there in the world, life is loud. The world demands everything from a man. It's time, his strength, his pride. Every day he's out there fighting battles you can't always see. People underestimate the weight a man carries, the expectations, the failures, the pressure to hold it all together. So when a man finds a woman who gives him peace, he protects her like his soul depends on it. Because to a man, peace is rare. It's not about quiet, it's about calm. It's about that feeling he gets when he's around her that says, I can finally breathe. When he says, you're my peace, what he really means is, with you, I don't have to pretend. With you, I don't have to perform. With you, I don't have to be strong every second of the day. Because a man spends so much of his life being strong for everyone else. But when he loves a woman deeply, he just wants one place where he can rest. Ladies, that's what love looks like from a man's side. He's not asking you to fix him, to build him, to complete him. He just wants peace. He wants your presence, not your perfection. He wants your softness, not your scrutiny. And I'll tell you this, a man who's truly in love will never forget the woman who gave him peace when the world gave him pain. You can be beautiful, you can be brilliant, but if you bring him peace, you'll be unforgettable. Now, that doesn't mean never disagreeing or never arguing. Real peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's the presence of understanding. It's when you can disagree without disrespect. It's when you can talk through things without tearing each other apart. Steve Harvey once said, peace doesn't mean no noise. It means knowing who's worth being quiet for. That means when he's with you, he doesn't want to fight. He wants to exhale. And fellas, let me tell you something, if she brings you peace, you better protect her. Because peace is sacred. Don't let your pride, your habits, or your ego destroy what you prayed for. You can have everything, money, cars, fame. But if you come home and you can't rest, you're poor in spirit. That's why real men will walk away from drama, even from beauty, just to keep their peace. Because peace, that's life. And when a woman becomes at peace, that's when love becomes sacred. Now, ladies, let's talk about your side of this. A man's peace doesn't come from silence. It comes from how you make him feel. The tone of your voice, the energy in your presence, the way you treat him when he's weak. That's where peace lives. If a man opens up to you, don't use it against him later. If he shares his fears, don't mock them. Because for a man, vulnerability is rare. And when he risks it, it's because he trusts you. He's showing you a part of himself he doesn't show anyone else. That's how you become his peace. By being his safe space, not his battlefield. And fellas, don't get it twisted. It works both ways. You can't demand peace if you keep giving her pain. You can't call her your peace if she's exhausted trying to calm your chaos. You got to match that energy. You got to make sure she can rest in you too. Because peace and love has to be mutual. Steve Harvey said something powerful. A woman's heart is not a place for confusion and pain. If she's your peace, protect her peace. That's the truth right there. Because nothing kills a woman's spirit faster than being someone's calm while he's being her storm. When a man truly loves a woman, he doesn't bring her stress. He brings her stability. He doesn't bring her anxiety. He brings her assurance. And that's what makes her want to be his peace. Because when a man loves you right, you naturally soften. You start to trust. You start to open up in ways you couldn't before. You stop being defensive because his presence makes you feel safe. And when he feels that, when he can walk through the door after a long day, see you, and feel his spirit settle, that's when he'll look at you and say, you're my peace. That's not just love. That's reverence. That's admiration. That's a man saying, you make life make sense again. Let's keep it real. Every man has chaos in his life. The job, the pressure, the responsibilities, the fear of failure. But if he's got a woman who makes him feel grounded, who reminds him he's enough, who calms his storms, that's a woman he'll never risk losing. Because you don't throw away peace to chase excitement. You don't gamble stability for a thrill. A man might play with lust, but he'll fight for peace. And ladies, when you hear a man tell you, you're my peace, that's not a line. That's a confession. That's his way of saying, I found what I was looking for. That means you've reached a part of his soul he doesn't show to just anybody. Now, fellas, don't ever forget this. If you've got a woman who gives you peace, don't make her question if she still does. Don't bring her drama. Don't make her cry. Don't make her doubt her worth. Because peace, once broken, is hard to rebuild. Protect that peace. Speak to her gently. Lead her wisely. Pray with her. Laugh with her. And always let her know, you are my calm in a world that tries to break me. Because when a man finds peace in a woman, he'll start saying things like, baby, you make everything better. I sleep better when you're next to me. When I talk to you, I feel lighter. Those are signs of a man who's found his home. So when you hear him say, you're my peace, understand the weight of those words. That's not a compliment. That's a covenant. Because for a man who's been through storms, finding peace in a woman isn't just love, it's salvation. That's the power of "you're my peace." It's not about perfection. It's about presence. It's not about control. It's about calm. And it's not about lust. It's about love that brings healing. When a man deeply loves you, he doesn't just claim you. He cherishes you. And when he starts saying, "you're my peace," that's when you know he's not just in love with you. He's rooted in you.